The annual Serby rankings are out, and if you aren't excited about that, well, I think you should be. Why, you may ask? Well, following the NFL draft, New York Post sports columnist Steve Serby has put together the power rankings of all 32 NFL teams, and you may or may not be happy with where your football team was ranked. So let's find out why Steve made the rankings that he made as he joins us now. Steve, how's it going?
Going great, Dex. How about you?
I'm doing well, can't complain at all. Excited to talk to you about these rankings. And Steve, can you start by sharing your overall methodology for creating these power rankings each year, and how significant was the NFL draft that just happened in terms of the results in altering your preseason power rankings?
Well, they altered them quite a bit, but let me just give you my methodology. First of all, I assembled my analytics team, my performance science team, my medical staff, and a psychic that I use from time to time. And then when push comes to shove, the old reliable dartboard.
Okay, I like this methodology. I'm a little surprised I haven't met any of the people on this team. Why have I yet to see these people who are on this team?
Well, they prefer not to be associated or affiliated with me. So they like to remain incognito, but their input is invaluable.
Invaluable. Okay, invaluable. So this is the process. You just have these people coming through, and then you put this, I don't want to say list, but rankings together. This is what you do. Are you pleased with what your team has helped you put together thus far this year?
No.
You're not
no,
pleased.
I am. But yet,
okay.
Well, I'm pleased. Look, after the top 8 or 10 teams, basically you could throw a dart. The NFL is so parity-stricken, so mediocre all across the board, except for the elite teams, that you could make a case for the 28th or 29th ranked team on my list to be in the top 10 or top 12. So that's the way it is in the NFL. Every year there's a surprise sleeper team or teams. Every year there are teams that you think are going to be elite, and they stumble. That's the way it is. But my team, I think, has done an excellent job this year in trying to weed all that out. Okay, so what I hear there is you believe in your team, but probably in a couple of months these rankings might not matter. All right, we're gonna get into it. So I got to ask you this: probably in a couple of months, this video will be forgotten.
Yeah, hopefully not. Well, I'll just have to do another one. But let me ask you this: which team do you think improved the most through the draft? Because you said that weighed heavily in your rankings, and then how was that a team that improved through the draft? How has that been reflected in your rankings?
Well, it isn't only the draft. My team and I, we factor in free agency, very important, obviously, and the head coach and the quarterback. In the case of 2 elite head coaches, Andy Reid, of course, getting Mr. Worthy as a new toy for Patrick Mahomes, the Lions getting Terrion Arnold, the Ravens getting Nate Wiggins with their #1 pick. But all those aforementioned organizations have stability at the top and have an elite head coach. However, the Chargers have an elite quarterback in Justin Herbert and an elite coach in Jim Harbaugh, and that's why I didn't drop them lower than 21, I believe I had them. But same thing with Sean Payton. The Broncos have a lot of work to do. He drafted a rookie quarterback, Bo Nix, but they've got so many holes to fill that even an elite coach like Sean Payton cannot save the day for the Mile High.
All right, so we got the Chargers to watch out for. Broncos could be making a leap. We will see there. I want to talk about the local. No.
Let me interrupt. The Chargers, only because of Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert,
gotcha.
I did not drop them further than what they are. And Sean Payton will be a winner in Denver, but not this year.
But not this year. Okay, don't have them moving up that far yet this year with the rookie quarterback there in Denver. I want to talk about the local teams because the Giants, they made some interesting picks in this year's draft. Where do you have them currently ranked in your power rankings, and why are they in that spot?
Well, the Giants are in the mid-20s because they still don't know whether or how healthy Daniel Jones will be. They don't know. They've lost Saquon Barkley. They've upgraded the defensive line, obviously, with Brian Burns joining Dexter Henry and Kayvon Thibodeau. And Malik Neighbors is going to make a difference. He's going to enable them to score some points and find the end zone for a change this year. But can Daniel Jones stop the regression that we saw a year ago? Can the remodeled offensive line keep him upright? And look, he'll be a better quarterback if only because Malik Neighbors can be the game-breaking receiver he has never had, the number one receiver. And combined with Jalen Hyatt from a year ago, Wan'Dale Robinson, he does have some weapons, so there are no excuses. It's a prove-it year for Daniel Jones, most likely his last year as a Giant before Joe Shane begins the search for his new franchise quarterback, which he couldn't get Drake May, and that does not bode well for Daniel Jones' future because they're obviously looking to replace him.
Yeah, we'll see how the Giants do. Got them in the mid-20s right now in your power rankings. And just noting for the people, Steve always puts me on the Giants' defensive line. Don't know why. I'm not trying to play D-line for the Giants anytime soon. Not trying to make that happen. Let's talk about the Jets. You placed the Jets in a position that I think will have most of their fan base pretty happy. Why do you have the Jets ranked 8th? Why do you have them there?
Well, I'm banking on a healthy season, or most of the season, from number 8, Aaron Rodgers. Breece Hall should have a monster season. Dexter, I don't know if you're a fantasy football guy, but I would draft him first overall. The rookie Olu Fashino provides quality insurance at left tackle for Tyron Smith or at right tackle for Morgan Moses. And the way the Jets both have had an injury history, and the Jets, of course, have been hobbled by an injury history, among other things. But the defense is elite. Hassan Reddick could be a double-digit sack guy. Will McDonald should make some kind of leap in his second year. The Jets are hoping he can make the kind of leap that Jermaine Johnson did a year ago. And you got Sauce, you got Garrett Wilson. Mike Williams has to stay healthy. That's why there was a debate whether the Jets should draft a tackle or Brock Bowers, because Bowers would have served as a weapon insurance in case Mike Williams cannot stay healthy. But all in all, last chance for Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas. I think that, and this guy Malachi Corley can be a yak weapon for Aaron Rodgers, their third-round pick. So look, the way the division is, I see the Dolphins sputtering, falling a little bit. The Bills lost Stephon Diggs. The Bills have questions in their secondary. The Patriots are rebuilding with Jacoby Brissett and eventually Drake May. The opportunity is there for the Jets to win that division.
All right, getting the Jets fans excited early. I see what you're doing there, Steve. Based on your power rankings, got to ask you this. Do you have a sleeper team that might surprise us this coming season? Who's that team for you?
I like the Steelers. I like what they did in the draft. They have really bolstered their offensive line. And, of course, Russell Wilson is an upgrade over Kenny Pickett. No offense to your University of Pittsburgh ties. But they and Roman Wilson has replaced Deontay Johnson. Did I get that right? Roman Wilson?
That is correct.
And TJ Watt will come back healthy. They've got Mike Tomlin never has a losing season. So Najee Harris and Jalen Warren must be licking their chops because the Steelers have a formidable ground and pound offensive line. and they don't have to let Russ cook as much with that ground attack. And of course, they have a new offensive coordinator, which makes all of Steeler Nation very happy. So Arthur Smith. So yeah, I like the Steelers to challenge the Ravens and the Bengals and the Browns. That may be the toughest division in football now. The Bengals get Joe Burrow back. That's why I have them ninth. And the Ravens are such a stable, quality organization in the front office and with John Harbaugh and Derrick Henry, although Dexter Henry could run next to Lamar Jackson. No, you and Lamar would make quite a team also, by the way. Yeah, but Derrick Henry's an even better one. He still has tread left on his 30-year-old tires. So the Ravens I had 5th, and I had the Bengals 9th, the Steelers 12th, the Browns 13th. So 4 of my top 13 in that division.
Yeah, AFC North is going to be tough. I like your sleeper
pick. I like the Colts, too. I like the Colts as a sleeper. Yep.
I like that sleeper pick of the Steelers. I like that one. Good one.
Of course, it's Pittsburgh. Of course you like it. But Latu is the best pass rusher in the draft, arguably. And they got A.D. Mitchell in the top of the second round as a wide receiver for Anthony Richardson. If Richardson can stay healthy, he's got Jonathan Taylor back without a contract issue. Watch out for the Colts. The Cardinals had 7 picks in the top 90. The Commanders had 6 in the top 100. The Rams, I like the Rams because of Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, if he can stay healthy. They lost Aaron Donald, yes, but they got 2 pass rushers, Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, to help compensate. And the team I really love, I don't know if you'd call them a sleeper, but I have the Texans rated 6th because they've got Stephon Diggs now. They've got Tank Dell coming back, Nico Collins, of course. Joe Mixon's their new running back. They bulked up their defensive line with Danico Autry and Danielle Hunter. D'Amico Ryans is a coach they'll run through a wall for. So I've got the Texans at number 6. And that's it. That's one of my sleepers.
All right, you got a lot of sleepers there. A lot of sleepers there. Let me ask you this, because anytime that we make these lists, or you make these lists or these rankings, there are going to be some fan bases that might be a little bit more critical or salty about where you've placed their teams. Which fan bases do you think might not be happy with where their team is placed on Serby's rankings?
Well, probably the Cowboys, who I have plummeting to 11. Dak's future is uncertain. This may be his last year in Dallas. They didn't address running back in the draft. They signed Ezekiel Elliott. How much does Zeke have left? That's a good question. They have a rookie left tackle in Tyler Guyton, replacing Tyron Smith. The Cowboys, I believe, will suffer because of that. The Dolphins, the Miami fan base won't be happy. They lost within their defensive line was ravaged by injury last year. Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips. They tried to address that with Chop Robinson from Penn State. He'll help, but they have not shown that they can beat the elite teams, and they faded at the end of last season. Love Mike McDaniel, but Tua to Tyreek, Tua to Jalen Waddle. Yes, they'll be in many games, but I don't trust them. I don't trust the Dolphins, and the offensive line needs some work too. So I guess the Raiders fans won't be happy. I had them further down because of their quarterback situation. Love Antonio Pierce, Mad Max Crosby, and Christian Wilkins will create havoc on defense, but comes down to Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. I thought they might draft Michael Penix, but the Falcons beat them to it. So the Commanders fan base, they did a lot of work in the offseason. Austin Eckler and Dorrance Armstrong and Bobby Wagner. So Dan Quinn's going to have to put all those pieces together. But remember, Jaden Daniels, as talented as he is is still a rookie quarterback, and I don't trust most rookie quarterbacks. So add that to add the Commanders fans to the list. And no offense to my old friend Magic Johnson, and maybe the Saints fans. I just don't trust Derek Carr.
All right, there you go. You got some fan bases that will not be happy with where you have your teams in the rankings. Let's end on a positive note. Which fan bases do you anticipate will be the happiest with their team's placement in your rankings? I already mentioned the Jets earlier. There's some other fan bases that you think will be excited about where their teams have been placed.
Well, it's hard to get the Chiefs fans any happier than they've been, right? Yeah. They're going for a three-peat, an historic three-peat, and now Andy Reid has this 4.21 toy for Patrick Mahomes in Xavier Worthy. So they'll be ecstatic. The Eagles, they're going to miss Jason Kelce, but Saquon Barkley is going to help Jalen Hurts. And that's just such a well-run organization. Look what Howie Roseman did, infusing elite quality youth into that secondary the way he did in this draft. And the Texans, as I said, the Texans fan base, they should expect nothing less than a division title. The Steelers they'll be back in the playoffs, as tough as it is in that division. In Mike Tomlin, I trust. And what others? Well, the Cardinals. You know, the Cardinals, Kyler Murray has a legitimate number one target in Marvin Harrison Jr., and if James Conner can stay healthy, they can make some noise. So those would be the fan bases I think could be happy. Colts fan base also, I mentioned that earlier.
Yep.
If Anthony Richardson stays healthy, that's obviously the key. He can be, with him and Jonathan Taylor together, can really do some damage.
They can. All right, so there's some fan bases that can be happy about some things, and hopefully people will be happy if they check out the annual Serby rankings up right now on nypost.com. Yes, Steve?
No, I hesitated saying that Jets fan base will be happy because when have they ever been happy?
That is a fair point. I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm not going to say anything else, but I'm just going to say that is a fair point. That is and Jets fans would probably might agree with you if they're happy.
Expect the worst and hope for the best, right?
Yeah, that is the case. But you've given them hope with their ranking at 8, so they've got to like the hope here in the spring. Check out the annual Serby rankings. They are up at nypost.com by the great Steve Serby. Steve, always good to talk with you. Glad you were able to break down and give the people an explanation of these rankings. Hopefully they're happy.
I expect all 32 to be in the order that I presented them.
We will see about that. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Dex.